Hello, my name is Bill Rowland. Have you been thinking about selling your business and wondering what it's worth in the open market, but you don't feel like dealing with some high-pressure salesperson, either on the phone or at your place of business? I understand that feeling. When I sold my own company through a business broker 25 years ago, that was the situation I went through. I remember talking to a young man on the phone, and after 10 minutes of relentless sales tactics, he said, "I can come out to your place of business tomorrow, and once you cut me a check and sign a contract, I'll have you sitting on a beach in Florida in 30 days. Well, needless to say, 30 days later, I wasn't sitting on a beach in Florida or nowhere else. I went into selling my business with little knowledge and no information on how to sell my business. I didn't know what to expect out of the business broker who was selling my company, or what my responsibilities were in the process. Now, before I get started with my presentation, I'm not a lawyer, a CPA, or an accountant. I don't give legal, tax, or financial advice. And any statements referring to these areas are considered opinions only. The presentation I'm about to give is the exact presentation I give to business owners that are selling their companies. It's packed with real information about selling a business. I start by telling owners I sell businesses and I'm also a real estate agent. That lets them know if there's any property connected to their business, we can roll both actions into one sale, making a transaction go smoother with less confusion. This is the sales presentation I hand to every seller. This is the first page of the presentation. The document on this page is the Missouri Broker's Disclosure. It lets the seller know that I'm a real estate agent. Down towards the bottom of the page, I have checked the seller's limited agent box. That lets them know if they choose us, we will be their agent, meaning our fiduciary obligations are to the seller and not the buyer. This document is our confidentiality agreement. If you look on the bottom right-hand side, you'll see my signature. The reason I signed it is to let the seller know everything we discuss will be kept confidential. On this next page, the question is, what kind of company is Transworld and what kind of agency is St. Louis West? Transworld Business Advisors have been in business for over 45 years. They have sold over 10,000 companies. They have 250 offices, 700 brokers, and they are worldwide. We are agents for Transworld, yet we are local and family owned and operated. We sell everything from large corporations to mom and pop ice cream parlors. On the next page is why use St. Louis West? Using a broker is the most discreet way to sell your business. Confidentiality is the most important aspect of selling a business. Employees, customers, suppliers, and banks all tend to get nervous with this knowledge, and competitors will take advantage of the situation. If employees start hearing rumors, they will start looking for other positions. Now, we don't collect upfront fees, so we don't get paid unless you get paid. Some brokers collect upfront commission fees. When companies do that, the salesperson has already collected his fee for selling the business, so they have little incentive to promote the sale of the business. We have a $1,000 upfront fee, which scarcely covers secretarial, office, and advertising costs. So we don't get paid unless you get paid. Only about 33% of businesses that are up for sale actually sell. At St. Louis West, we know how to dramatically increase that 33%. We do it by helping sellers clean up their financials and other documents. Buyers look for companies that run orderly. The other way we increase the 33% is by word of mouth, using top websites, working with hundreds of other Transworld agents, and co-brokering with other companies. I would like to add something about the 33% of businesses that sell and the 66% of businesses that don't. A large percentage of businesses come to us when their business is failing or their documents can't support the price that they're looking for in an open market. On this next page, you'll see the average time to sell a company is anywhere from 6 to 12 months. One of the most important things for a seller to do at this time is to stay calm and understand it's going to take 6 to 12 months for his business or her business to sell. When sellers start getting anxious, buyers and buyers' brokers pick up on that. Then they may start submitting lowball offers. and ask for unreasonable terms. Due to the fact this is a long-time financial and time-consuming commitment between St. Louis West and the seller, we ask for a 12-month sole and exclusive contract. Many owners ask, how can you sell my company when you don't know anything about it? That is a reasonable question, and there were 10,000 other owners whose companies sold that asked that same question. At St. Louis West, our main priority is to find a buyer. After that, our job is to keep the buyer, co-broker, banker, landlord, accountant, lawyer, and others moving forward, and to keep everyone on track. This next page is, the business must continue without interruption. Our job at St. Louis West is to work in the background, finding a buyer for the company. This allows the owner to continue running his day-to-day business and making money. What do you get when you hire a business broker from St. Louis West? You get an agent that works diligently and discreetly to sell your company. You get a full-time agent looking for a buyer. And we invite the 700 other Transworld agents and any Missouri co-broker agents to help confidentially sell your business. We explain to buyers the benefits of buying an existing business like yours instead of a startup. We let them know existing businesses already have customers. It is operating with experienced workers. There are contracts and vendors in place. And in selling a business, those are things called goodwill. We also stress making as few changes to the business as possible and keeping all employees. Then we tell them the success rate for existing businesses are 90 to 95%, while most startups fail within the first 2 to 5 years. So with St. Louis West, you get somebody that pushes the deal forward through the confusion that can stall a sale. We work as a bridge between you and the buyer. We shop your business to over 1,000 buyers. Then we negotiate with buyers, haggle with landlords, deal with lawyers, argue with bankers, and collaborate with CPAs. On this next page, the first line reads, you will get access to the most sophisticated buyers' websites on the internet, along with the top business websites like BizBuySell, BizQuest, and others. Your business will be discreetly listed on the other 250 Transworld offices and their 700 individual brokers and co-brokers. Our main focus will be within a 200-mile radius, yet we will reach out across the country. You will get a free business evaluation on your company. Finding the fair market value of your company sounds complex, yet in today's market, the overwhelming majority of businesses sell as asset sales, and that comes down to 4 factors. What kind of business is it? The annual revenue, goodwill, and seller's discretionary earnings are owner's benefits. Seller's discretionary earnings refer to things like amortization, depreciation, owner's compensation, owner's health insurance, car payments, cell phones, and a number of other things. Once in a while, we run into a seller who wants an in-depth estimate on every aspect of the business. We also have that service available. We also help keeping the due diligence on track. If you're not familiar with due diligence, it is the process of verifying documents, numbers, and paperwork. Due diligence is broken down into 3 categories: financial, legal, and business operations. During this time, we're coordinating with you, the co-broker, the lender, the lawyer, and the CPA. So when we get to the closing table, there are as few unpleasant surprises as possible. This document here is the questions that most business brokers will ask. Number 1, how long have you been thinking about selling? This gives us a realistic gauge of where you are emotionally and mentally in the process of selling your business. The next question is, why do you want to sell your business? This is a question every buyer is going to want to know. And in the process of selling your business, we're going to need to know that information too. Is the reason you're selling because you're retiring, relocating, recent health issues, other interests, or taking an entirely new look at life? Are you just burnt out and bored with the business? What are you going to do after you sell your business? A buyer could be thinking after he or she buys your business, you could go down the road and start another one. Next question is, have you ever bought or sold a business before? We ask that to see how familiar you might be with the process. Has the business ever been up for sale? We ask this question because If it has been for sale before and didn't sell, it might have been overpriced or not marketed to the right audience. Do employees or others know your business is for sale? As I stated before, confidentiality can be the most important aspect of the sale. On this page, do you know of any potential buyers? In most cases, when business owners know their potential buyers, those individuals expect to buy the business at a greatly reduced price. As your agent, we can step in and show that buyer in real numbers how much the business is actually worth. Anyone else involved in decision making? We need to know all the people who are involved in making the decisions, and if possible, have them present during discussions. Is confidentiality important to you? 99% of sellers say that's the most important aspect of the sale. Do you own or lease? How much time is left on your lease? Are you current and on good terms with the landlord? If you lease, is it transferable and renewable? Do you have a loan on the business? What's the business's financial picture over the last 3 years? If you decide to go forward, you will need to contact your CPA or financial advisor for this information. On this document, it reads, if you decide to start with us, eventually we will need these financial documents. Past 3 years of tax returns, year-end and current profit and loss, and balance sheet. Monthly sales report for the last 3 years. This is a simple phone call to your tax person. Your buyer may also want to sit down and have a discussion with your tax person. Keep in mind the buyer will also want to see your legal documents, including incorporation papers, permits, licensing agreements, and contracts with customers and vendors. The document part of the process may seem like a daunting task, but most are at the fingertips of your accountant or your CPA. Facility information needed. Copies of the lease and our deed. We will also need a complete list of furniture, fixtures, and equipment, owned outright or to be transferred to the purchaser. Exclude personal property, not intended to be sold with the business. On this page, list separately other assets that are not owned, specified, borrowed, or leased. Leased equipment must be listed separately. Provide copies of lease. Please include make, model, year, and mileage of all vehicles. Any appraisals done on building or property. Business operations. If possible, identify your top 3 to 5 customers and what percentage overall revenue they generate. This information is kept strictly confidential. List major suppliers and contract associations. Also include ongoing contract agreements to be assumed by the purchaser. This includes franchise agreements, distributor rights, employee contracts, equipment leases, securities. List all personnel's salary and roles, how long they have been employed for most recent 12 months. Include family members and self. List all major creditors and balance owed to each. We have 2 caveats if you decide to sell your business. Please consider an M&A lawyer. Working with an M&A attorney will make the process go much smoother. These lawyers are no more expensive than other attorneys. Whether you use us or not, please use a professional business broker. Collaborating with a broker will help to mitigate the risk of a deal collapse. The last thing I'd like to say is, if you've been thinking about selling your business, either now or in the future, or you're just wondering how the process works, please contact my son Bill, who is one of the owners of St. Louis West, or me, Bill Sr. Our emails are on the screen. If you prefer to call or text, those numbers are on the screen too. If you would like to know the basics of how a small business is valued, I also have a video about that. Either click on my YouTube channel or you can look up how to value a small business on YouTube. If you would like a copy of this presentation, click on the link below. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video, and I hope it's been helpful.